welcome to my first Devlog ever. Um, I am Niclas. I am the sole developer and owner of Infinity Game Studio that resides in Denmark. I wanted to create a Devlog video for my game, but I forgot to create the Devlog before I finished the game. So the game is out. There's been so many problems. When you start as a developer the first time, it's like a massive overcoming. There's so many pitfalls in Unity, and I wanted to share my experience with you guys, going through every single step of creating your own mobile game. I myself is a self-taught programmer. I basically don't have zero education in coding. I taught myself because I was annoyed that all games in my country, at least, was these paywall apps, and they all had this watch a billion ads, and then you get something, a very tiny thing, or you have to pay to get better. I don't really like that kind of games, and I thought, what the hell? Let's start making my own games, and what a ride! It's 5 years later now. I have my own company. It's an indie company, and we don't make that much yet. Hopefully, someday we will make some more money. You should not start developing games for money. My passion is coding now. It wasn't before, but when I started to learn, I quickly figured out that this was the path I wanted to go on with my life. It's very fun to see a game being developed, and when you get good at coding, you can basically create anything your heart desires. So normally I would like, why are they not creating these features in games and stuff like that? I don't really know why they're not doing that, but I think it most of all comes down to money, because any developer can create anything in a game, basically. So any idea can be created. It's just about how long time it takes to implement it. Unity is a great software. They had some difficult years, let's just say that. There's one thing that when you do start, if you do want to start creating in Unity, you should definitely stay on the same version for as long as possible. Sometimes there's breaking changes. I myself have been an idiot sometimes, and I upgraded Unity because I thought that was the way to go. Always update, update, update. I would highly recommend not doing that. Stay on the version you like as long as possible. If there's an error or something that you can't come across, and the first thing you should do is go Google. Unity has this forums and bug feature where you can actually see where if there's been developing on the bugs, and they will release a new version of Unity where the bug is fixed, or there is a fix you can implement yourself. That will save you hundreds of hours of not breaking your entire game. The worst thing about Unity is probably their what's it called? Their locks, so console locks here, errors here is not really that clear. Luckily, we have ChatGPT now, which helps a lot. Um, Sometimes it's not really good because it's just scanning whatever it learned. So because it changes version all the times, that might not be the right solutions for you. So don't always trust that. Google it first, then try ChatGPT later. Um, that's it. This is Castle Siege. It's something that I've been working on for quite a lot of time now, many years. Was wanted to release it on Android first, and then iOS will come later. I have created and released another game called Gaia Rush, and one called Animal Kingdom on iOS. iOS is very expensive when you start out as a game developer. I will cover that in a another devlog, what the cost is and how to set up Android and iOS, so you can release games there. Android is very easy. You basically just build your app and then you upload your package to Android. Google Play Console is called, and then they will review it, and you put up your name, your description, and images and stuff, and then you're actual live. You have to set if it's free or it's cost. There's also a pitfall there. We will cover that later. If you do set it to a free app, you can never change it to a paid app. So you have to decide with yourself if you wanna like if you want a paid app or you want a free app. I just released a paid app, and in my experience, that's not good because there's basically no way to market it. It's like people have this, like they want a free game always. I actually got a guy that wanted me to put ads in my game. With this game, it's made 100%, so there's no ads. I don't want ads in my game, and I don't want. If you can see here, if you navigate to the shop, we actually have no in-app purchases either. I don't like that. I don't like that you have to pay to, or you can cheat to get ahead. That's not. That's, I don't like that. I also think it ruins the game that you can go at, then somebody can take their credit card in and buy all the diamonds, and then this ranking suddenly becomes obsolete because why have a ranking if somebody can just cheat up their rank? I played games before and really don't like that idea. So I removed that. And this game, you earn diamonds, and whenever you play, and it's very, very, very optimized. There is some optimization. We also have a video for that coming out. There's a very, very large, huge pitfall that you have to take care of, especially for iOS. iOS has a limit for RAM you can use, or your app will simply just crash. Android doesn't have that, which make Android easier to develop for, but Android devices are generally weaker, in my experience, than iOS devices. So there's a little thing there. So iOS has less RAM, but has a better GPU, but Android has higher RAM and weaker GPU. That's my personal experience. Um, this game is built on top of an asset called TDTK, which is a nice guy called Song Tang. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Um, it's a tower defense game, which is basically you have to survive X amount of waves, and the waves will increase in difficulty the more you eat play. Every wave you complete, there will be more and more and more, and so on and so on. To start out with, your towers are pretty weak, as in all tower defense games. You can see the towers out here, and you can just drag and drop them to the game, and you can build towers like that. It's very easy. And then we have this nice thing that will turn red if you can't build, turn green if you can build. Took quite a while to figure out how this is actually done. This might look easy, but it's definitely not easy to implement, in my opinion. Again, we had this TDTK engine that we used, but I didn't really like the way it was working. So you can see here if we go into like how the game looks. If you see it, this is a scene view in Unity. So that actually means you can see everything that's going on. So if you click this little button up here, you can actually see all the thing that's going on, all the thing that's implemented. And this blue line is where the monsters are walking this path. And you can see that little sphere here is actually indicating where the path is. In the normal TK asset, there's this line that's like this arrow is not really that nice. So it's very heavy modified engine. There's a lot of things that's not working and optimized as well as it should be. I don't know if there's a new update out, but again, if you update the asset, it'll probably break all the things you did. So make sure you understand which things are implemented and decide if that's something for you. I know that I contacted Songtang many times just to get the implementation in hand so I could implement it myself because I didn't want to update and override all my stuff that I had. I will show you now what the asset is. I will also make a link in the button below here so you can see. But this is basically the game. So every wave you clear, it will send out a new wave, which will be harder and harder and harder. And every time you complete a wave, the towers that you use, you can see they're getting XP out of it. This is locking. This is only available in Unity. That's just for me to look at. I disabled them in the real, the public build. But the towers that you build will earn EXP for each wave. So whatever towers you decide to build, that tower type will earn XP, and then you can go to the tower tab here, and you can see we have all these different towers. These towers are different asset packs that are bought via Asset Store. I'm not a 3D designer at all. I would highly recommend that you buy the assets, minimal assets that you want to just create a proof of concept of your game. Don't do as me and spend all your money on assets. And I think there's a guy called Jason Weimann. He actually explains it that don't spend all your money in the asset store. There's so many things that oh, I need that. Oh, that would be nice. Oh, that would be nice. And you end up spending thousands of dollars on assets, and you have to remind yourself that you actually have to create a game first and then implement the asset afterwards. So you have many ideas, but you still have to create a game first, and then you can create buy all the assets that you want, right? So we have this one here. You can see the arrow tower. And then we have every time it kills or survive a wave, it earns XP up here, and you can purchase these skills. This will increase crit rate by 0.2. This will increase speed. This will make an extra projectile, and so on and so on. So if I took the critical strike here and unlocked it, my tower will now have this here. You can see I can upgrade it here if I want. Have this fancy little pop-up here when it upgrades. It's also something we'll tell you how to do. When you click it and you upgrade it, it will like make this nice. It's called feel, and it's something that makes the game more nice. Like if you click a button and nothing happens, it's not really that nice, right? So you want to have a little, it's called a feel effect, and it's like it's making it pop out. And normally that's not part of any game, so you have to implement all of that yourself. We will cover that in another video here. I'll make sure to cover it. Then we have this modifier here, which is also like, it's just to, if you want to make extra gold at the end of the game, you can click this one here, and then you will have 10 extra gold. But the difficulty of the game will increase every 5 levels if you decide to get extra things. Let's pause this game now, go out, then I will show you what assets we use just to start out with. I don't want this to be a very long video because it's the first one. Just wanted to highlight that this is the game we're going to talk about, and then we'll go in deep in each asset that we used, what we changed, where we changed it, and also some people that wanted to know how we implemented multiplayer in the TDTK asset. That's really there's many people that want to know how we did that, and then we'll try to show you how we did it with Photon. This is the, you can see it's quite a long time since we bought it. This is the asset that is actually built on Tower Defense Toolkit by Songtang Dev. It's looks like this when you buy it, and then you have to modify it yourself. We are not using these paths and all this stuff. We actually using a terrain instead. So this is a terrain and not a, like you can put these small paths in, and then you connect them with these dots, and then that's how this game is set up to start with. I will show you how we did ours. It's actually not that difficult to implement. This one is more like you go this way, you go this way, and like it's very squared. Not really. We didn't want that. And then the entire UI here, we ripped that apart and removed a lot of things. Also, all these generators that generate waves, we don't have that either. We generated our own because this one didn't really serve our needs. So also all the stats are modified. We don't have the stats from the game here, and all the spells and all that stuff is not from this building thing. There is this building thing. If you just want to create a prototype, you can do that. It's very, very nice. It's very, very deep. You can create. I for myself looked for an infinite generator like this endless mode here. It will basically just increase the difficulty for each wave, but that's a pitfall here because if you click that one, it will your game will be unplayable. Like it's not really ready, I would say. I had to modify it for the other game we created because like 2 waves in, then the game is too difficult. You can barely play it. It's so difficult. It's just increased by 1 every time. It just times it up, and that's not really what you want, right? You want this like stable curve that goes so it goes this way, not like goes like in super difficult mode. Then we have different countdown types you can implement. We always want it just to be cleared. We don't want it to skip either. So we want to make the user either you clear it or you lose life when you when the monster hits the exit. Then we are using GPU instancer. It's a really I would highly recommend you buy this one. It's insanely good for optimizing mobile games. We have this frame rate and a badges it's called. Badges is about how many things badges has to write, and you have to have that as low as possible for iOS and Android as well. This one makes it very low. So this one I would highly recommend if you want to build a mobile app game that looks nice. We have a lot of things going on in our game, and we really didn't want to go down on quality. So we wanted everything to look really nice. So we have that implemented here with another asset called this guy here. It's Midnite Oil Studios. It's a guy that creates YouTube videos. He actually created. This is the guy. It's really nice. He created something called Object Pool Manager. It's free asset and it's extremely good, extremely well optimized. Very good at handling all the different objects that you want to spawn and like you take him in. Object pool spawning is like you're making a bucket of all your assets, and then you have those, and then you reuse them all the time. So that's what an object pool is. So you have a pool of objects, and then you create them all at the start, or create how many you want, and then you can reuse them. So you don't have to instantiate a new one. Instantiation is very costly on a mobile device, so we have to avoid that at all costs. So reuse. Most important thing. We will cover this one because we actually merge this object pool manager with GPU instances. So we have these 2 projects. Object Pool Manager and GPU instances actually working together. So we used some AI tools and to help us do this. But this actually allowed us to use GPU instancer with Object Pool Manager, and it increased our. The game is just running so much better. It's insanely good. We have many projectiles at the same time, and we were very afraid that the mobile device would burn out or be super hot or stuff like that. Talking about hot mobile devices, we will also cover how to avoid having a hot mobile device. It took me a while to figure out, and there's not really any source out there on how to do it, and I was quite amazed on what did the trick. I was told what I've read, it was not that. but when I figured out what it was, it's like, okay, why are they writing something that's not really true? But we will cover that in another Devlog video, and I'll show you how to make your mobile device not burn out, not getting hot, and not tear apart your battery. There's some mobile games out there where you actually have to fit a physically charging device in it to just make it work, play the game, or it will run out. Then again, if you're just creating a game, I would not recommend buying any assets. I bought all of these. They look a lot like this Warcraft 3 um, units, and this guy actually created quite a lot of different ones. Polygon Blacksmith, I will link him below. We have them all. We have dwarf, humans, undead, barbarians, elves, orcs, soldiers, stuff like that. We have them all. But this one is very, very good. They're nice quality. They are animated for you. You don't have to do anything. Like literally, if you take this asset with the tower defense tool, you can drag and drop the animations in. You just create a new unit. I'll show you how to do that as well. Create a new unit, then you just drag and drop all the animations and click play, and they will walk and run whatever you would like it to do and attack and stuff like that. It's very, very simple to do once you figure it out. It takes some time to understand how it works, but if you're like me, learning everything from the ground up, you will quickly learn it. I will show you how it's done. It's the easiest way that I could understand it. Then we have the UI. UI is probably the worst thing that I can imagine in a game. It's so difficult to get a UI, and you have these. You want to make a UI, but you're not a designer, and you don't know how to like draw all this stuff. And so I would recommend that you go into Unity assets, and you figure out. You just type UI, GUI, whatever you wanna, whatever type of game you're trying to start out, and then see if there's something that you like. There is so many different UIs, and you can customize them how you want to. But to start out with, this is probably the easiest way to get started. Like you can see, this is the UI that we actually bought for our game, but we're not really using it as it is. There's so many different ways you can use it, but you have to figure out what your style is, and then take whatever you need from the assets. This is the one we're using. It fits really nice with the style that we wanted to get. So, but that's enough for UI. We have this text animator too. It's a nice tool that will animate the text for you. It looks really nice when it does it. A lot of games using it. There's one issue though. I will cover that later, and that's if you pause the game, the animation will stop. But we fixed that as well. Then, if you want to learn Unity gaming, like how to make your own game, I would really, 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 really recommend this guy called Weimann. This is the guy that I started out learning from, and he basically have every single video you can imagine. This is also the guy that taught us how to optimize our game. There's when you create a game in Unity, first time you create it, you don't think about reducing textures and stuff like that. You don't think about reducing audio sounds, like compromising things. So initially, your first build will be massive, like, and most users will complain if your game is over 200 megabytes. Basically, that's what we experience. So 200 to 300 megabyte, that's like a maximum of what the game should be. Or the game stores would actually warn you with this little label says, "Oh, you have to use Wi-Fi," and that most people just click cancel and not download your game or buy it if it's too big, unless it's a AAA game, which is the big company's game. So I would recommend you to find this video. I can link it in the below. How we did it with him, with his guide. I will also show you how it's done in another Devlog video. It's when you figure it out, it's really not that difficult, and you can make this default setup for your project. There's a lot of things that needs to be compromised. Basically everything: audio, UI, animations, 3D objects, how many bones that your units have, and stuff like that. You have to figure out how many polygons your stuff has as well, and reduce those. There's tools for everything, and you can buy yourself, like, you could buy everything, but it's not really good to start out with. So start out small, and then I would put some videos in from this guy here, and you can start out yourself. And if you follow these Devlogs video, I'm 99% sure that you will have a game at the end that's really optimized, or whatever the game you want to create. All these tools are the tools we're using every time we make a new game, because it's basically, that's the way you do it. You do mobile game development. So thanks for watching. Just a short introduction. I will make another Devlog video with other stuff coming up here. I will show it down below here, what you can look at. Take care. Thanks for watching.